So Ildy doesn't do anything. I do everything. Go.
What can you tell us about God Johnson?
Aha! So, there's a man who is named God Johnson who basically claims to be God. Is he? Is he not? That is the question Lucifer will be asking himself. That's the question we'll be asking. And as he's exploring who this God Johnson guy is, you know, like, Mom's here, Mom's present. He hasn't had a chance to actually confront all of his... He had a chance to confront all of his mommy issues. This guy claiming to be Dad, is this going to be an opportunity for him to explore his daddy issues, finally to actually talk to someone? First question was God Johnson.
Oh,
I nailed it.
People are excited about God Johnson.
God Johnson's awesome, and it's Tim Amundsen. Yeah. He's so good.
Isn't he?
So how, I mean, what was it like to work with them and how and his interactions?
I have to say, like, when we broke the story, he was our prototype. We watched, like, we had Gallivant on our TV in the writers' room. We were like, this guy is, you know, and he's just this twinkle in his eye and this, like, delicious devilness to him, kind of, that we wanted. We're like, I could see him being Lucifer's dad. Like,
you could cast him to play the devil or God, and that's what's interesting. Like, you could...
Kane on Supernatural.
Exactly.
And, like, he gets upgraded.
Yeah, right? I know. He's demoted from now on, like any other role he takes.
Right?
A little bit about his back and his first on.
Yeah, so what I love about where we left our characters is Lucifer is all about choice, right? And he just found out that Chloe didn't really have a choice, at least in his mind, of loving him or caring about him. Meanwhile, Chloe just finally kissed this guy that she's been fighting herself against, and then finally got an intimate connection with him. And the end of 12, it's all like there's just this genuine connection between them. And then she gets sick, and when she wakes up, he's gone. So from her perspective, she's missed all this story.
He's a jerk.
Right?
Yeah,
so there is some righteous anger and a lot of other things on Chloe's side, and on Lucifer's side, he's on a journey of trying to figure out what do you do
and in
now?
his mind, he's in a protective mode of her, because how he feels is that if God sent her, she has no choice in her feelings. So they're not real, and that's not fair to her. So he's like, how do I undo it for her sake?
Yeah. She doesn't deserve to have been put on a burden called Lucifer. Like, she was put on this path. She deserves to make her own choice. But how do you do that when she's sort of chosen to love you, but does she, it's that ultimate conundrum.
Yeah, for somebody who's about free will, I mean, that's his thing. That's all, fate, And he's like, this is the cruelest thing you could have done, is put her in my path. But what's ironic is that, of course, she's the only human who is immune to his powers, so everything was her choice.
Yeah.
But he doesn't understand himself. Doesn't get it.
That'll be the thrust of our mid-season premiere, and that'll push the dynamic for our last 5 episodes. So
Fox picked you guys up for full season, for season 3, and then recently announced that they're holding 4 episodes from the season for next year. Are those 4 episodes in addition to the 22? So it'll be 26 episodes?
So what we know is we are airing 22 episodes of television next year, and also shooting 22. Whether or not they'll air 24, 26, we don't know. We're waiting to hear. We're just breaking it as assuming that we're going to air.
We're fluid.
Yeah.
Fluid.
We're going to do...
We have 4 standalones, but we've been sort of saying they're not necessarily completely standalones, because we might have a little mythological nugget that we'll lay in there that will then pay off later.
We designed them to start story. So, like, what happens is, like, if it had aired this season, you'd have been like, oh, I wonder when they're going to pick that back up. And then you would see it be picked up, like, a couple episodes into season 3. Now we're just going to air them and pick them up right after. But hopefully when you guys watch standalones, you'll be like, is that a standalone? Was that? No, maybe not. Maybe that wasn't. Because they very much feel of a whole with the story that we are telling in season 3. And then I think to your question, we may do a couple more standalones season 3 at the very end, in case we don't have room for all of them and float those over season 4. We don't know, but what we do know is we're going to air at least 22, and we are going to shoot 22. So there's a lot of Lucifer coming up.
That's right.
Having Los Angeles locations to play with again.
Lord have mercy, yes. Now here's what we have to say, though.
Yeah.
Dad have mercy. No. Vancouver and our crew, okay,
Oh, man.
we talk about it a lot, but the most amazing crew, and they've made Vancouver look like LA.
Which is
it's
not
been a
easy.
feat.
You guys
I
have all
don't know
been
how
there
they've done
probably,
it.
so yeah.
It rains a lot. All I'm saying is a lot of rain. But yeah, we're thrilled because we have done LA shoots throughout both season 1 and season 2. We'll come down for a week and get like, a day on one episode, a day on another episode, and we'll just, sprinkle it in there. So this is going to hopefully, feel like just slightly sparklier, just slightly
And we were only
sunnier.
able to do it because of the tax break. So thank
Yeah.
you, California, because that made a big difference.
Are you guys going to change up the sets, or are you going to kind of just rebuild the sets in LA?
Well, definitely Lux, and probably Lucifer's penthouse, which we kind of love.
Yeah, we're still in early goings. We might make some tweaks here and there. Hopefully, ones you never notice.
Yeah.
The clown painting will stay up. I'm just saying that right now. That clown painting
Cloud
is
mermaid.
never going
Yeah,
down.
no,
The clown
no,
mermaid from
Cloud
episode
mermaid.
213.
It's
It's
really
always
good.
going to be there.
Yeah.
The season finale, is it good about the Crispies? Can you
Yes.
just
It is.
say what we can expect from the finale itself?
Interesting.
A good question.
Let's see. You know what I'll say is that we do tie up every end. The whole season has been what to do about mom, what to do about a problem called mom. Well, we figure it out by the end. And there are many choices on the table. So, does she go to hell? Does she go to heaven? Does she die?
Here.
Does she, and so there's a lot of choices. We pick one. So.
And then, in our tradition, what we love to do is every season's beginning, middle, and end, and then a cliffhanger that goes, "This is what next season's going to be at." I'm always frustrated by the shows that give you the cliffhanger where you're like, "No, I've been watching this whole season.
Yeah, answer it.
You have not satisfied this question. We will wrap that up, and then hopefully by the end you'll be yelling at your screen, what the hell does
Because
that
we
mean?"
maybe throw another little mystery there at the end of the season where you go, what does that mean now?
Oh man, how do you know they're in the same room?
I'm just assuming.
Interesting.
Caliente.
That's a very interesting question.
Caliente. Very,
Man.
very exciting. Yeah. Put it this way: God and the goddess, they lit up the universe, right? Let's just say that the Big Bang. I think we've
established that.
So I think so. There's the opposite of love is apathy. None of that happening here. It's a pretty fun thing.
And they're just two masterclass actors, so it's fun if they're in a scene together.
If they are.
As writers,
they like
writers and producers, how happy are you that you get picked up at an early renewal versus waiting till May? Like how much does that play into your planning of the next
I
season?
mean, it helps us because we were able to spend 2 weeks breaking season 3 before we wrapped, so we have a head start. And we also have a head start with. It's funny when you take a break and then start the next season. There's usually a couple days of like, wait, who's
was that?
Lucifer
Yeah.
again? What's up?
Yeah.
Like we were hitting the ground running, and honestly, the standalone episodes we did gave us like a breath of fresh air. They gave us sort of like a sort of new lease on life of like, oh, this is a different way of breaking story. So we just kept running through
So
season
now
3.
what? Yeah, and now what?
Yeah.
Now what are we what's our big arc now? And it was fun to get back into the deeper mythology after these sort of break episodes kind of thing. But yeah.
And that really allowed us to do that.
And now it percolates. Now we get, 2 months to have it back there percolating.
Yeah.
So it's super helpful. Yeah. Thank you, Fox. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you.
That's